What's going on, everybody? It's Jay, aka It's Ghost Story, back with another Phantom Parade news video. And the gacha revenue chart for the month of May is here. So we can know just a little bit more about the 2.5 anniversary for Phantom Parade, since obviously Gojo and Yuji dropped during the end of the month. And we can kind of gauge the performance, right? We can kind of make an opinion on everything at the moment. Let's just say it's not doing the greatest, in my opinion, because we could see we're in the top 50 still, nonetheless. However, despite being in the top 50 and being above games like Persona 5 The Phantom X, above Bleach Soul Resonance, being above Solo Leveling Arise, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, Limbus Company, like Seven Deadly Sins Origins, which I'm pretty sure is a new game, mind you. But like, we may be above all these games in question. However, for Phantom Parade standards, this 2.5 anniversary has a very weak start. And why I say it has a weak start, the game made 2.6 million during its half anniversary season, and you may be thinking, that's still good. And you're not wrong. 2.6 is good. It's just good in general, right? However, good for Phantom Parade celebration-wise, especially when like the headliner is the MC and Gojo. You know, Yuji and Gojo being the headliners starting out, 2.6 is not good because we can compare to 1.5 and 0.5, right? And see how they performed overall. And once we look at 1.5, you'll be able to see, right? So 1.5 had 3.9 million during its initial start. So for Haijo and Shoko, right, we have that 3.9 million mark. Then we have for 0.5, which was Gojo and Geto, they made like 6 million, I believe. Yeah, 6 million. So there is a very big gap. Now, take into consideration, I say this for all gacha games, usually the first year, or like the first couple months, build up to like half anniversary or whatever, is where like the game should be making the most money because it should have the most hype behind it because it's the fresh new thing to look at. However, again, if we look at 1.5, you have the 3.9 million and then 4 million revenue in June. And then for 0.5, we have the 6 million revenue and then the 9 million revenue in June. So there is a reason like to be concerned here, because you start with two pretty heavy hitting characters. Obviously, the main character, like I said, and Gojo. Everybody loves Gojo. Like, they drop a Gojo and they make a ton of money. And it seems like this time they went that route and it didn't work all too well. And here's the thing. I feel like a lot of people will point fingers towards the SP system. And I may agree to a certain extent. It's just the fact that if it is an issue of the SP system from the JP side of the player base, it's like a majority that's very silent. From looking at JP Twitter and JP YouTubers, whenever I see a JP YouTuber cover like Gojo or Yuji, it's never a complaint about the SP system. It's never a complaint about having to spend all these cubes potentially to get A3 to get the full potential of the unit. It's how good are these units at A3? You know what I'm saying? It's never a discussion of why this exists. It's a discussion of how good they are. And it seems like a lot of the content creators on their side don't really bother much with arguing against it. And it seems like the initial negative reaction that was inside of the live stream chat when it was announced didn't transfer over to like general social media displeasure from the live chat to like Twitter or, you know, maybe Discord, Instagram, YouTube, the whole 9 yards. Okay. And it seems like instead of just voicing it on social media, they voiced it with their wallets, because obviously this is the weakest performing anniversary event in the game currently. And mind you, I believe that anniversaries for this game operate under a certain, I think, level of relativity, right? You have Celebration, and then the next month afterwards, it should be relative or should be like way better, right? So, for example, first Annie, you got the 5 mil, the 10 mil. Holy, right? A lot better. Okay. Then we got, you know, second Annie for JP. Month afterwards, way better. Okay. But it operates on like a level of relativity that comes along with the hype, because obviously the banners that would come out in November would still hang around for a little bit in December. And that's the thing. This is a very bad number for Phantom Parade right here. It's very low in comparison to their previous celebrations. And I don't want to have like a huge knee-jerk reaction, but even I can notice when they kind of follow this trend. And I brought this up in a previous gacha revenue video, where usually they have the celebration period, they have a huge spike in revenue, and then they get, I would say, semi-lazy with the game, or they would release units that wouldn't exactly fill in the biggest hype to fill out the standard pool. And that would lead to, like, I wouldn't say low revenue, but it's relative revenue, right, to right here. So like 3, 2, 1. And then, like, for example, before the second anniversary period, they had like the releases of Kusakabe, Rapid Escape Megami, Maximum Meteor Jogo, and those are cool picks, but they didn't sell well. They didn't, like, people didn't spend a ton of money on those characters. So they were low revenue type of months. And now we're here, we're like the month of March, it made the exact same amount of money in Japan as the starting period of 2.5 anniversary. And let's kind of look back and see if has that ever happened before. Like, it's not looking like it. Like, we are not in a period where we've had, like, I guess you could say, I wouldn't say a filler month, because obviously these aren't filler months, but it's like non-event oriented months being comparable to half anniversary, which, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, in March and JP, that's when Nanami released, right? So we can go to second anniversary, March. Actually, no, that's not Nanami. Ooh, wait, hold on. That's Yuta. Okay. So Yaga and Yuta. So that's a 2.6 million. This is actually Nanami. So if we're looking over here, as it currently stands, the month where we had the wishlist banner, Momo and Nanami are currently just, in terms of JP revenue for mobile, made more money than the initial push for 2.5 anniversary, which is kind of crazy. I mean, same with Yuta. I mean, for some reason, like, even though Yuta's a very hype character, he just doesn't seem to sell well all the time for some reason. If you look at every single major Yuta release and, like, look at the revenue charts, you'll be like, wow, it feels like it should be way more than this for some reason. But all in all, we'll have to wait until June's gacha revenue report comes out, but this is a bad start. It's a pretty bad start. I can't lie to you. I hope it gets better, but understandably, right? I'm not going to tell people you should put money into the game. Vote with your wallet, okay? If you don't like what's going on in this game, let's say you're, maybe you're an English speaker who happens to play on JP and you do spend money on the game. If you do not like what's going on, vote with your wallet. Do not spend money on the game. Unless, like, the devs really do not care about the IP at hand to the point where they're like, if we run out of money at some point, right? Like, then yeah, the game will just plummet over, go EOS sometime in the future or whatever. But if the devs do care about the game enough, or do care about the IP enough, they'll see the rapid drop in revenue and be like, maybe we should, change some things around. You know, if people are complacent, the same things are just going to happen over and over again. History will repeat itself. So we'll see what happens in June. If there's like a big revenue spike in June, then it'll kind of be like almost all for nothing, kind of. Even I know like a lot of people have wanted to boycott the game or wanted to get messages sent out to the devs to try and like remove the SP system or like just reverse it or just do things better for the community. However, again, if the game makes like a major profit in June off of like Megami and Nobar's appearance or whatever else they have planned throughout the remainder of Anniversary, if we get even more updates, then like I said, it might just be all for nothing. But as we saw before, like last half Anniversary, we had some super relative revenue. We had 3.9 in big old May, and then in June they made 4. So, but then again, to be fair, during that time period, the final half anniversary unit to release during that time period was Nanami, and funnily enough, like he had a whole month gap between his release. Like Shoko dropped on the 30th. Nanami also dropped on the 30th, but on the very next month. So it was like wow, y'all really waited a long time to drop Nanami, and it even dropped a standard unit in between there. So very interesting nonetheless. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think 2.5 is going to fall on its face even harder, or do you guys think it's going to clutch up because of Megami and Nobar's release? Because we will have to see, since Yuji, Gojo's, Megami, and Nobar's banner are all lined up at the moment, so they could all just be making money at the exact same time, alongside the rerun banner for the hidden inventory trio from 1.5 also exists. That's also going to play a factor into making money for the game. So let me know. Do you guys think we're going to see a surge in revenue in June, or do you guys think that the JP players are finally voting with their wallets and we might see an actual change for the game in the future? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord, it's in the channel bio. Thank you for over 2,000 subscribers, but most importantly, it's been Jay, aka It's Money Man Story, and I will see you guys later.